Burr, it's cold. I think it's 32, but with the wind it feels like 21 here in Atlanta today. Ooh, y'all northerners, that's probably average temp, normal for y'all. In the south, oh, we freeze. Anyway, today I'm gonna be making, okay, I'm not making, we are making over the top chili on the big green egg. Whether it's an egg or a Kamado Joe, the ceramics, it doesn't, I don't think there's a big difference in either one of them, but I like the egg. That's what we started with, so we've got that cult type following, but I don't fault the other ones either. All I know is it makes some great over the top chili, and even though it's cold and Tracy offered to cook in the house, I want it out here. Just that smoked ground beef tastes so much better in there. All right, I gotta get started. Not a lot of ash and small pieces in there. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna clean it out. It's not enough to fool with. Sadly, the brand of charcoal we've been using for years, their pieces have gotten much smaller, and I could speculate it's because of the volume they have started selling. It's grown, everybody's buying it, but God, I'm gonna switch brands. I don't want to down them. Look, they're a growing company. I want to support them, but until they can get them bigger chunks, I got to try something else. And so I'm gonna switch to, I don't know yet, Fogo, maybe even the Kamado Joe brand. They package a block of it that's pretty awesome. So, but for now, this will work. You don't want to use any chemicals. Big Green Egg makes some little blocks you can use. I've used vegetable and paper towels before with matches. The thing I like to use, Harbor Freight. This thing's if you catch it on sale, it's about $8 or $9 plus tax. We've had this one for about 1.5 years, and it's done well. Best thing I could have bought. Makes lighting the grill a lot easier. It's just a heat gun used mainly for electrical or automotive things, wires, tent, wraps, probably a million other things I'm not thinking of, but I just put it in there and it'll keep the heat to it, and it'll eventually light it. The other thing about this brand of charcoal, it has gotten harder to light. I keep mine out here in a tub, a little Tupperware plastic thing, whatever, something cheap we got at Walmart. It's not watertight, so I know moisture gets in there, but I've never had an issue. But about the same time we started getting small chunks, it got harder and harder to light. I don't know. I don't think it's anything we've done, because beforehand it wasn't an issue, but now it is. So I'll stand here, freeze, get a little heat off this, and hopefully get this lit in just a second. It's cold. That actually felt pretty good. I thought it was gonna be too hot. It was all right. Wind's kicking up, but we also have a spark. With this heat gun, you really have to watch it, because see those sparks popping around? You don't want to get over there too close. Those sparks come out and hit you in the face. Like I said, when this brand was better, we would, you know, it really pop and send them out there, but it lit really quick. Now, not so much. It's doing pretty good today, but that's probably just luck. It's still really slow. Once it lit, though, it lit quickly. That was the good thing. Given that this charcoal is a little bit harder to light with, I want to keep it going a little bit longer, just to make sure we got everything fully lit. I don't want it to go out. With those smaller chunks, you don't have the air coming up through the bottom of it as easily as we do the big ones. So you really got to make sure you got it lit good. All right. Let's see, once it dies down, do we have it? Oh. Very nice. It's lit very well. It still took longer, but once it started, it's lit pretty well. I'm a little surprised and happy. This is where I have that awkward pause and I don't know what to say. I think I'm just going to go in and have a little bit of whiskey for medicinal purposes only. Sunday, it's the only day, you know, it's the only way you can have any alcohol is medicinal purposes on church day. My girl buddies are out here. So we've got a pretty good little bed starting, a bed of coals starting here. One thing with the egg or even the Kamado, when they first get a bed of coal, don't throw your food right on there, because as it's heating up and getting all the other charcoal heating up, there's a little funky odor that comes off. And what you want to do is you want to leave it cooking for a little bit. I like to get a decent bed of coals to good bed and then let it run for at least 10 minutes. You can put your hand over it and you smell it. It's a little bit of a charcoaly burnt smell. It's not a strong burn smell. But if you put your food on too soon, you can still have good flavor and moisture, but it'll have that odor to it when it ruins the meal. So that was a learning curve I had for about my first 4 or 5 cooks. Once I got past that, it was good. So here we still don't have a complete bed of coals. Not good enough to make me happy. So I'm gonna let it sit here. I'm gonna take my lid off. Yeah, I'm being picky. It's about 280 in a dome temp, which is good. I wanted about 275 in the dome. And then we're gonna get everything together, put it into a cast iron skillet. And we use a very simple recipe, nothing fancy at all. I mean, beans, onions, some peppers, cut it up, throw it in there, 80% ground chuck on top, and let it rip. And simple recipe, but everybody falls in love with it. And the key is it's the meat. The ground beef smoked, and you can put some wood in here. I have some cherry in the garage. I just don't feel like fooling with it. As I mentioned, it's damn cold out here. So I'm gonna let this balance out. It's doing good. It's actually holding pretty well at 280, which is good. So I'll leave it at 280. I'm not worried about 5 degrees. It's not going to make a difference. I just want it stable and balanced so that when I put everything on there, I close the lid and I'm not lifting and looking. As the old saying goes, if you're looking, you ain't cooking much. And they are rambunctious today. Setting my plate setter and rack in. This is obviously not a big green egg item. I got it off of Amazon. I got it so that I can cook halves, wholes. When I say cook halves, I mean if I want to take out one of these, it's dirty. If I want to take it out and cook direct, heat here and indirect on this side, I can do that. Or I leave it in and cook indirect. Really convenient. The big green egg one was good. Believe it or not though, Sophie knocked this over when she was about, I don't know, maybe a year old. No, she was probably about 5 or 6 months old. And she pulled on the cover, which you saw was ripped and torn and taped up. But she pulled over and knocked it over. Luckily I had a friend nearby. My wife called him. He came by and lifted it up. He's a strong dude, because I can tell you, ain't many people can pick up a 500-pound egg laying on its side, or whatever they weigh. I don't know. Maybe they weigh that much. I don't know if they're heavy. Now, once everything's hot here, right, we'll clean the grate. We'll take the grate off, and we will put the cast iron skillet of chili down here. Put the grate on top, and put the meat there so it's cooking over and dripping down into it. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. And I'm a few hours away from eating, so better hurry up. Need to quit making video and start focusing on cooking, right? Very simple recipe, right? Bush's chili beans, some Kroger tomato sauce, some McCormick hot and original, and then of course the cast iron skillet. So the only thing missing is the onions and the green peppers. So what are you doing?
Just rolling this out into a ball, or not really a ball, but just like I put salt and pepper on it. I could put onion in it, but I'm not going to.
So you're putting in all the beans and the tomato sauce?
The beans, tomato sauce, and chili powder.
Right on.
Green pepper. This was the strongest, juiciest green pepper I think I have ever put. It was, whew, smell it. It was brutal.
Clean your sinuses out.
It'll do something. Get a cup of it.
Ooh, smell them onions.
Yeah, it was strong.
Get everything mixed together. I can't wait. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. All right, so now we've got our kettle, cast iron kettle, whatever it's called, on the plate setter for indirect. Put the grate up here. We have the ground beef up here with some salt and pepper so that it will, as it cooks, it drips down into there. So now we're going to cook till the meat is 160 degrees internal temperature. Make sure, if you want consistent cooks off any ceramic cooker, grill, smoker, whatever you want to call them, we'll call it the egg, internal thermometers. That is the key. Consistent food every time. I'll show you my setup, which I hate. I'm going to buy a new one, but it works. And it'll help you get an idea of making sure that your food is always consistent with the internal thermometer. All right, so chili's been cooking for 45 minutes. It's about 250, which is fine. I like to keep around 275. I'm not worried about a few degrees. Internal thermometer. I am not a fan of this outdoor gourmet brand, even though it has a nice little app. It doesn't work well. It's a pain in the butt. I'm not happy with it, so don't buy it. I wouldn't. Should've known. Alrighty. So got the thermometer in. We are at about 89 right now. So I'll put a little bit of slack here so that when I close the lid it doesn't pull the thermometer out or mess with anything. Yep. Like that. Alrighty. Should be good till another 45 minutes. As my wife informed me, I was wrong. It's actually 140, not 160 or 145. So take it to 140 degrees internal. That's where it's at right now. So, oh, it smells so good. All right, so we're gonna pull that off and crunch it up and put it in the soup and put it back out here for another hour. Smells good.
God, Joey and them, we're going to have to give them some chili. Because there's no way all this is chili's going to get eaten. Oh, that was just the right amount of hamburger meat.
Perfect. All right, so we just pulled the chili. I'm going to eat and be fat and happy and not even care. Not even going to have a shred of guilt. I gotta go, I'm hungry.